been signed out here, so I wish we could guarantee that we're on YouTube, but we may not be able to do so here in just a little bit because of some login procedure problems. We've got, again, the potential for some more issues out across the area tonight with maybe a shower or thunderstorm, so that could be a bit of an issue out there. And again, also for the next couple of days, definitely going to be on the hot side, and we'll continue again to see the potential for some pretty warm conditions into around the end of the week. So for right now, the main thing we're looking at is going to be heat and humidity. We have a decent amount out there for right now. We're going to continue to see that potential of heat and humidity continuing for the next couple of days. So for the time being, again, tonight, not really all that much going on. But we do have, again, the potential for some more problems out there as we go into the next few days where it comes to that heat and humidity for outside. That is where we're seeing the potential problems for right now. So if you do have any considerations for being outdoors, definitely want to stay tuned and keep it tuned to News 12 for more updates as to what may be happening here. We do not have any problems with the tropics coming up. That, again, in and of itself is good news for now. And for the rest of the forecast, we don't really have a lot going on to worry about for the time being. Okay, we have audio there. We're going to make certain that we have audio here for just 1 second, and then we'll get on with everything else. And for some reason, we do not have audio taking place. So Twitch, stand by for just 1 second. We may be seeing a problem here with the audio. I don't know why, but we could be seeing, let's see, next couple of... Okay, sorry about that. Yes, we are on with audio. When you're doing a show like this and you only have yourself, your audio, camera, graphics, host, all sorts of other things going on. So unfortunately, we have to make certain all this is working first before we get any farther onwards. All right, so for tonight, it is Monday night. I'm Chief Meteorologist Austin Onek. You're watching live, hopefully, on Twitch and YouTube. We'll get you up to date on everything going on here coming up in just a little bit. So let's go ahead and get started. Almanac page 94 the high and 74 the low, 3 degrees above the normal and high and low for the day. Record high that hasn't been broken since 1935 and a record low of 58 degrees. That hasn't been broken since 1912. So that gives you a little bit better idea as to what exactly the temperatures were like. We're already behind for the year and for the month. Well, behind for the month, I should say, because we just started August 5 days ago. We've picked up 800ths officially for the month at the airport recording station, and we are behind, sneaking up on half a foot by this time next week if we don't pick up any rainfall. About this time next week, middle of next week, we're going to be close to 6 inches behind normal. So we are definitely behind where it comes to anything involving rainfall out there. Our weather window picture of the day available at wdef.com/photos. Thank you very much, Jennifer Howard from Dalton, Georgia. Nice view of some lightning out there. Approaching Knoxville from North Carolina. That's our Langley Roofing weather window picture of the day. Sunshine, rainbows, lightning strikes, tornadoes, fog, steam fog, river fog, uplift fog, anything like that. We'll take just about anything as long as it's weather related. So please drop us a line at pictures@wdef.com. You can email it there. You can drop them to our website, wdef.com/photos, or you can drop them by our social media pages in the comments section. Please give us a description and or a location as to what you are looking at. If you don't include that, we kind of have to make things up. You can be anonymous if you want to, but it's just basically good practice to give us an idea as to where you were and what you were and things of that nature to help out on there. So for tomorrow, kids heading to school, Going to be on the humid side in the morning, and also looking at dismissal time rather on the hot side out there. If you're a local business or organization who would like to advertise have your logo here on the bus stop forecast, contact our sales department at News 12 through the website at the bottom of your screen, wdef.com, and you can find out more about costs and number of times we can use the sponsorship logo, things like that. We already have a ton of great sponsors. We'd love to have you along as well. So if you'd like to volunteer your business and work with us for, again, a nominal fee, then we'd love to have you on board. So please let us know that you would like to be a sponsor of our weather graphics. Again, bottom of the page, wdef.com/weather. Here's what it looks like at Island Cove. Not a lot going on for the time being. Again, fairly quiet and will remain so for tonight. Looked like a pretty good sunset earlier tonight around Island Cove. Still a lot of haze out there. Some of that is due to humidity. Some of that is due to wildfire smoke, and we'll continue to see more of that over the next couple of days. Downtown Chattanooga, Bailey's Heating and Air Camera off to the southwest. Lookout Mountain over here, Raccoon Mountain out that direction, looking around Moccasin Bend in the turn of the Tennessee River, heading around the bend, heading downstream. The Chattanooga Theater Center camera, we did have a bit of an error earlier tonight. Looks like that error might still be there. Hang on just 1 second, and we'll see if we can swing that around for a little bit. Again, Chattanooga Theater Center camera, I said, hoping this kicks into gear. There we go. That's what it looks like. Coolidge Park, the footbridge, the Tennessee River, downtown, underneath the bridge stretch back that direction. So a nice view for tonight, but still kind of dusty across much of the region. And we'll continue to see drier numbers for now, not helping us out that much. Visibility, looking out toward Signal Mountain way off in the distance. We can see the lights on top of Signal Mountain easy enough. Pardon the glare here. The production department manager has still not gotten this glare out of the way, so hopefully we get that taken care of at some point. Most of what we're seeing right now is very light traffic for this time of the evening, and not seeing a good amount of visibility problems there. Temperatures back in the lower 80s with a heat index of 88 degrees, and that is pretty toasty for this time of night. Winds not doing anything to cool anybody off at this point, and numbers should be staying fairly toasty into the overnight hours. We did have some scattered showers around. We don't have a lot of them anymore. Calhoun, Georgia, just around and on either side of I-75, is picking up a little bit of shower activity just close to the top of the hour. It's now just after 10 o'clock Eastern time here. And this is the News 12 viewing area. If you've never seen this before, keeping you updated with what's going on with the weather situation in southeast Tennessee, western North Carolina, northwest, north central Georgia, and the two northeasternmost counties in Alabama. That's the News 12 viewing area. And for right now, outside of that one shower, which is leaving Gordon County, heading down toward Floyd County around Rome, maybe a bit of a drizzle on the windshield, but beyond that, we're just not looking at too much. Top of the hour temperatures, 70s and 80s. Numbers continue to be, on the whole, I would say, call it maybe kind of sort of comfortable, but it is still toasty. 85 still in Stevenson. Lower to mid 80s across much of the area. 84 again reported at Chattanooga. Not going to take a look at the heat index number since the sun's not up, so it's not that dangerous, but we do still have some upper 80s. Jackson, Mississippi, back toward Little Rock. 86 also in Middle Tennessee, and a few 70s out this direction, but that's because we're getting some rain-cooled air heading on through, and that could be a bit of a situation if you're heading that way. Low temperatures tonight, not that low, only going back into and around the mid to upper 60s to lower 70s. So this could be a situation where we see some relief, but not really all that much. So it would be nice to get a little bit more in the way of cool conditions. But again, not seeing anything major taking place into the overnight hours at this point in time. I want to reiterate, if you've never joined us here before, welcome to the show. If you're on Twitch or my YouTube channel, keeping you updated as to what's going on with the weather. This is Weather Overtime. This is our online video weather blog, enabling you, the viewers, to ask questions and see what's going on here at News 12 in downtown Chattanooga, and keep you updated as to what might be happening in your forecast. If you have a question about things elsewhere regarding weather, the tropics, we'll try to get those questions answered for you. It may not be exactly, anytime soon, but we'll do our best to answer your questions as soon as we possibly can on here. We'll take a quick look at the tropics coming up in just a little bit. They're already pretty active at this time. We've got the winds coming out of the north. The circulation of the storm system is back down into around this direction. And as you can see, Debby sitting right across Florida and Georgia for tonight. And the circulation around here, very strong. Nature hates a vacuum. So nature is always trying to put things back at a balanced level, a one-to-one basis. And this storm system here is going to take a long time to kind of fill that gap in the atmosphere where that area of low pressure is concerned. So for right now, the storm is on shore. It is a tropical storm, no longer a hurricane, but it is also in a perfect position to draw a ton of moisture onshore from the Atlantic and the Gulf of Mexico and drop it onto the southeastern United States. We'll talk more about that in just a little bit. We actually have another storm system sitting north of us, and this particular storm system, it looks like, is going to be mainly staying to our north across the Great Lakes. Portions of this, especially this cold front, will be dropping our direction toward about Wednesday into Thursday. Now that, combined with moisture coming in from the east, might give us an increased chance of showers and thunderstorms toward the end of the week. But for right now, it does not look like a great deal, nor does it look like a possible problem for anything involving huge amounts of rainfall. Now, as we go into tomorrow afternoon, Debby might spin a little bit more moisture our direction, so east of Chattanooga, that is where we may see the potential of the best amount of rain showers and maybe some thunderstorms coming up. And some of that could stretch into northern Georgia. Most of the area, Chattanooga, the Tennessee River Valley proper, and back to the west, that is where we will probably not see too much of anything coming up. And that pattern will continue because Debby is going to slowly creep its way up the east coast. It'll kind of wobble a little further out to sea and then kind of wobble backwards just a little bit. And that could also send some waves of rainfall by about Wednesday as that front approaches from the northwest. That could help to shepherd and keep some of that rainfall around through Wednesday evening. Now note, we are not looking at a huge amount of rainfall, but it is possible that we will see some of that there. And then through Thursday, if this storm system picks up enough moisture and is able to throw it back toward the west, we may see more showers. Maybe this is one model's opinion right here that you're looking at. So things could change for our chances for rain. We could use it. Yes, there's going to be a problem with outdoor activities, but again, we are desperately dry. We could use some more rainfall, and right now it doesn't look like we're going to be seeing too much of it, but we could take every drop that we could possibly get out of this. So we'll see how well this works. When it comes to smoke, we have had rather a lot of it around here, and over the next few days, Debby's circulation might help to dry us out a little bit and push some of that moisture-rich, clearer air off of the Atlantic, but then it also might do a very good job of drawing down even more smoke from well up to our north. So some of that smoke right up against the Appalachians might stick around for a while from the Gulf Coast all the way back up to the mid-Atlantic. And guess where we are? Unfortunately, right in that same area, we could be looking at the potential for more problems coming up. This is, again, most of what you're looking at here in smoke should be aloft, should be several thousand feet up. Now, how much of this translates down to the ground, especially around the Cumberland Plateau, which is higher than the surrounding areas into and around south, middle, and southeastern Tennessee. But hopefully it will not be a problem for health concerns. We have other plumes from other fires still pumping out smoke down to our south, more localized. Most of what you're seeing here is off of Canada and the American West, where there has been a ton of smoke from thousands of acres of uncontrolled fires. So this could be a bit of a problem. Now, the good news for right now is that we are going to see a bit of a downturn in the temperatures coming up toward the end of the week. It's not much, but it is a lot better where it comes to the heat we saw over the last few weeks, and it does not look like we are going to be picking up anything in the way of crisp, cool autumn temperatures, but we'll take what we can get at this time. So for right now, conditions are again looking a little bit better, and hopefully they stay that way. We'll keep you updated on that potential coming up here as we go throughout the rest of August, and we've got a lot of August to get through, so that also includes the tropics out there as well. Island Cove looking off to the west-northwest, and a beautiful day, but a hot one out there. And temperatures, again, over the next few days will be rather on the above normal side. Normal is right about here, about Saturday, 91. That's about where we should be for this time of the year. And then mid to upper 90s through the next several days, basically starting off hotter than what we're going to finish up. So temperatures will, according to these forecast numbers, be dropping, and by this time next week we might actually be a little bit below normal. It doesn't look like much, but we'll take what we can get, especially at this time of the year where this is basically an Arctic blast for all intents and purposes. So not much in the way of rainfall. Again, Wednesday, Friday, if Debby shoves enough moisture this direction, the remnants of Debby might give us some more showers and thunderstorms. We'll keep that isolated risk in the forecast for tomorrow. Again, that'll be mainly east of Chattanooga. So for right now, I think the worst of the worst will be tomorrow, and even then we're talking about a 1 in 10 chance of picking up any rain across portions of the area east of Chattanooga up into the Appalachians. We'll see how well that works in the course of the next couple of days. Now, for the tropics, we have had a busy day to where this started off as a hurricane earlier this morning, crossing over the Big Bend area. It is now a tropical storm right over the Georgia-Florida line. That making its way northward and over portions of the area toward the southeastern United States. This is going to be very interesting how this pans out, because with this storm sitting here, that area of low pressure swirling around and bringing moisture in off the Atlantic and the Gulf, this is going to drop a ton. It already has dropped a ton of rainfall down into parts of Florida. We're talking a lot more rainfall coming up, because this position here, the inflow coming in from this direction, will give a ton of rainfall to areas of the eastern United States on the Gulf Coast. That is where we could be looking at some big problems out there, and here's why we're mentioning this. We're not seeing all that much. Again, for us, we're looking at maybe a fraction of an inch at best, but just look at what is happening over the southeastern coast of the United States, to where we're looking at 15 inches, possibly higher amounts, maybe 20 inches plus, according to what some of the computer models have said on various other sites. So for right now, anything between Jacksonville, Florida, and the Outer Banks of North Carolina, as this storm system slowly makes its way up that coastal area in that perfect position to bring more rainfall in, that right there gives you a very good excuse not to go on a beach vacation in this area of the country anytime soon. The Florida Gulf Coast, the Texas Gulf Coast, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, this looks to be pretty much in the clear, although there could be some wraparound rainfall effects going on here. Very windy, very rainy. So again, Florida to North Carolina at least, and then eventually toward Chesapeake Bay. Not great weather, windy, wet, a lot colder, rip currents on the beach. Not great for going out and beach combing or trying to get out there and soak up some sun. So again, if you have plans to visit this area, I'd be very cautious and plan to be ready to get out of that direction if you are heading that way, which by now hopefully you're not. Something to think about for the travelers out there. Also, over portions of the Caribbean, just north. This is South America, down at the bottom of your screen, right underneath the box. Central America and Panama over here, and then Hispaniola heading up toward Cuba at the top of your screen. This oval is where this next system is expecting to head towards in the next few days. Now, it doesn't look like much, but this is very close to the path that Beryl took just a couple of weeks ago, going through the Caribbean, aiming for the Yucatan Peninsula, aiming into the Bay of Campeche, which means if it follows suit of Alberto and Chris, it'll head into the Bay of Campeche and then over toward Mexico. If it doesn't, if it starts taking more of a northerly route, parts of Texas could be looking at the potential for some heavier amounts of rainfall and also some problems with travel. Now, we're going to be watching this one very carefully. It is just a collection of showers, thunderstorms, and clouds. There doesn't appear to be anything really starting a twist here, which would signify strengthening and more organization. So for right now, a 30% chance. That's higher than anything else developing here, but it's not quite as high as what Debby was just about 72 hours ago. So this bears watching, especially if you're heading to those areas of the Gulf. Again, anytime you're taking a vacation or anytime you're taking away from this area, or you know somebody who's going to the beach, this is why we try to tell you about this, because if you are going to a certain location where a storm might be aiming for, this is why we tell you to be weather aware and to do it as often. Keep up to date with the forecast as often as possible, because this information right here could help save you frustration, time, money, all of that. So for right now, this is not a huge problem. It looks like it's going to be heading toward this, again, the Bay of Campeche, the southwestern Gulf of Mexico. But for right now, it does not look like it's an immediate threat. If you're heading toward Corpus Christi, Brownsville, back down toward Matamoros, Mexico, and the Mexican coastline into the Gulf, that is where I would be watching very carefully on this as this system continues to develop and work its way on through. So please, please, please watch what's going on with the weather and keep it tuned to News 12 for more details. So let's take a look at some astronomical stuff. That's pretty much all the weather that we have for right now. Coming up this next weekend, there was a star party this last weekend, the Barnard Astronomical Society holding another star party where you get to look through their telescopes and their binoculars and all kinds of great things. This one will be held at Harrison Bay State Park in the Rec Hall parking area, August 10th. That's this Saturday from 8 p.m. to 11 p.m. Again, weather dependent. If there's a lot of clouds out there, they will say on their social media pages that they are canceling or postponing. You don't need to bring any equipment. Just show up and have a great time learning about science and astronomy. If you have a young astronomer in the family, holiday gift giving season is coming up very soon, so you might want to ask the experts some questions about what is a good telescope or spotting scope for a younger astronomer to start off with, and they will even help you set it up and help you learn how to use it in their How to Use Your New Telescope seminar. That's an annual event that comes up in January. Really cool group, really great to see some folks here as dedicated to astronomy as I have ever seen in many years. So if you'd like to know more, barnardastronomy.org. Great opportunity to find out more. All right, talking a little bit about what's going on in space. Exometeorology is the study of weather on other planets. And if you've never heard about that before, that's a great science to take a look at. And the question for today, looking at weather on another planet, fourth rock from the sun. This is a very cool thing to take a look at. Tie vote here, and only broken by the number one answer, 31% of you voting for plus 10 Fahrenheit, which would be a heat wave for Mars in summertime. That right there, remember that Mars' atmosphere is 100 times thinner than what we're breathing in here on Earth. You would have to, if you could, which you can't because most of Mars' atmosphere is carbon dioxide, to be able to take one, just to equal one breath on Earth. Again, it would be the opposite on Venus, one breath on Venus is the equivalent of 100 breaths on Earth. So the pressure is much different on Venus than it is on Earth, and it's much different on Earth than it is on Mars. But the question is, what is a summer-like temperature on Mars with that thin of an atmosphere? And the correct answer that you got there, 31% of you got that, was 10 degrees Fahrenheit. That's an average, very blisteringly hot day for Mars. Thank you, friendinroofing.com, for being our sponsor. And if you'd like to vote or see what the next poll is, use the QR code on your screen or go to wdef.com/vote now. And thanks to, again, Friend in Roofing for being our sponsor on that. For that note, the last report that we got from the Curiosity rover on Mars for 4,260 Martian days, that's called a sol, from July 31st. They don't come every single day. This is what I was looking for when I was a kid. This is what I would have loved to have seen, a daily or semi-daily Martian weather report. And the high temperature in Gale Crater on the southern hemisphere of Mars in the mid-summer season, the high temperature at that location was 19 degrees Fahrenheit. The low temperature at night, 99 degrees below zero. So that is one really, really big temperature swing right there. That's a 120-degree temperature swing. Not quite as much as Earth orbit from the sunshine to the shade, but without any atmosphere to really hold in a decent amount of heat because it's very thin carbon dioxide, and more importantly, it's very thin. So it's not great for holding in heat. So that, again, was our weather report from the fourth rock from the sun. That, again, from the Curiosity rover, a little bit of exometeorology for you. Great opportunity to take a look around at what is happening out there in the solar system in other places. If you have questions about what NOAA does, there's been a lot of concern about certain political wings wanting to can NOAA and replace it with a private weather service, just because NOAA happens to talk about climate change, human-induced climate change at that. It is happening. We are mostly responsible for the changes to our planet. The reason the water temperatures of the oceans are warming up is because they are absorbing the heat that we are doing a good job of washing on through there. So again, that is something to really think about for right now. We are seeing again the potential for more of this to continue over the next several days and weeks. So we do see again the potential for some problems there. If you'd like to know more about what goes on with NOAA, stop by here. This is one of the National Weather Service agencies that covers this part of the News 12 viewing area. We're covered by Huntsville, Nashville, Atlanta, and Morristown, which covers southeast Tennessee and western North Carolina. If you'd like to ask them questions, if you'd like to ask questions of climatologists, meteorologists, science specialists, watching a balloon launch, finding out information about how and why they issue warnings, finding out more about climate change, asking them why they study climate change so much, and because it affects species other than humans, because it affects shipping, because it affects weather safety, because it affects crops, because it affects all sorts of ocean life. That is important to ask those questions and to make certain that we are looking ahead to see what may be caused with human-induced climate change, and wanting to replace them with a private agency to charge a fee for a forecast that you and I already pay as taxpayers. That's very short-sighted in my opinion, and that's not the best way to go about things. So for as of right now, if you'd like the opportunity to ask NOAA what it is that they do, and you live in this area, golden opportunity, because these open houses don't occur all that often. So if you'd like to know more, go to Morristown, Tennessee. Let's see, 5974 Commerce Boulevard in Morristown, Saturday, September 28th, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. You can find out more at their website, weather.gov/MRX. That's the three-letter code for the National Weather Service in Morristown. Or you can find out more at our website, the weather section, wdef.com/weather, if you'd like to know a little bit more about what NOAA does and how you can find out, ask questions and be curious from the experts, and to find out more about what you might be looking for in the way of answers. Never had a chance to be there. Maybe you have some budding meteorologists at home that would like to know more about what it's like to work for the National Weather Service. Here's your golden opportunity. It's a great opportunity to be able to take a look and see more about what is happening there. All right, I think that should do it for tonight. I'm starting to get a little hoarse. It's Monday, so naturally I would probably run out of voice at some point in time there. So we'll go ahead and wrap it up for tonight to make certain you get back to whatever it was you were doing. And of course, we'll have more on News 12 at 11. Rick Nyman has sports. Andrew Harrison has all the day's news. And of course, I'll have more on the forecast as we go into the rest of the week. But little, if anything, is going to be improving anytime soon. So it would be nice for us to get a break. We will catch a little bit of a downturn, but it's not going to be anywhere near cool. I think one of these days I'm going to have to bring back the autumn countdown clock, because it's about that time of the year to start looking forward to those crisp and cool temperatures out there. All right, it is Monday evening, the first Monday of the month, the 5th of August. I'm Chief Meteorologist Austin Onek. It is a pleasure to bring you more weather information here online and also on air with News 12. Chip Chapman will have your forecast bright and early at 5 a.m. Eastern on Tuesday, so stay tuned for more on that. And of course, I'll have another weather overtime coming up tomorrow evening, give or take about 9:45 p.m. Eastern, so stay tuned for more there. More at WDEF.com/weather, and if possible, I'll see you tonight on News 12 at 11. Thanks for joining us.